Denial is pretending conditions aren't there or insisting they shouldn't be there. Denial involves judgment, which is always a form of attack. When we deny something, we are to some degree at war with it. But you can't fight something and see it clearly at the same time. Fighting and seeing are two different activities. You also can't fight something without becoming exhausted. Denial is easy to write or talk about. For one, everybody's used to it. Fighting and exhausted, after all, is a fair description of much of humanity. Denial is the way of the world, the currency we trade in, personally, socially, and politically. Denial says, I don't like this. It's wrong. It shouldn't be here. Sound familiar? But denial is easy to write and talk about for a more fundamental reason. It's baked into the nature of language and logic. In the modern westernized world, language and logic are how we believe we answer our questions about reality. No Western philosopher was a painter, even though paintings convey information and meaning. The Western tradition demands that philosophers and scientists convey their wisdom by writing it down. Western culture believes that the most important brass tacks information about the universe can and must be conveyed by some combination of language and logic. If it's conveyed in another form, it might be interesting, amusing, or thought-provoking. But it isn't really real. Language and logic are a huge help in solving technical problems and in conveying certain kinds of information. They are also based on separation and exclusion. Red is not orange. Right is not wrong. The U.S. is not Mexico. Straight is not gay, and so on. The building blocks of language and logic themselves are separate from each other. Every word I'm speaking here is separate from every other word. Language and logic, by their nature, divide up reality into abstract elements that exclude each other. This is a helpful way of modeling certain aspects of reality for our convenience. But it's far from reality itself. In fact, close investigation reveals no definite or permanent boundaries of any kind in reality. Once language and logic divide up reality into abstract elements, they lay out these abstract elements in lines. One thing follows another along the straight line of a sentence or logical statement. There is no other way to use language and logic except in this sequential way. They are inherently linear. In a painting, you can dab a little red and then a little yellow on top of it to get orange. But when things are laid out in the lines of language and logic, they can't be in two places at once. One location on the line denies another location. Things aren't allowed to blend, curve, fold, overlap, or branch. Yes, we can express nonlinear concepts and images using language, but we have to express them in a linear way. I can say, for example, Jennifer blends with Edward. But you still have to take in the information one word at a time in sequence, which might lead us down more linear paths like, why did I put Jennifer first? Is she more important than Edward? This is not how we experience reality. In each moment, reality presents itself to us all at once. Nothing is denied. Our experience is all here now. Just as a hammer was made to pound nails, our Western way of understanding reality was made to separate things and lay them out in lines. Anytime we think this way, we are slicing up the wholeness of reality into mutually exclusive chunks and arranging them in a sequence. We aren't encountering reality directly. We're representing it in our minds in a way that makes it appear to be a this or that proposition. We're telling ourselves stories about our experience. These stories simplify our experience and sometimes make things more convenient. They also make denial easier. You probably know the saying, when all you've got is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. We could also say, when all you've got is modern Western thinking, everything looks separate and sequential. We tend to use the hammer of this modern Western thinking to bang on everything we encounter, even when it's not the right tool for the job.